Addis Ababa hosted the first-ever Africa Regional Resource Mobilization Skill Share workshop of the Red Cross and Red Crescent National Societies, which concluded in the middle of last week. The workshop brought together over 100 participants from 45 national societies across the African region. As international funding continues to shrink, African national societies have agreed to redefine their approach to resource mobilization and financial sustainability, utilizing domestic potential. Co-organized by the Ethiopian Red Cross Society, ERCS, and the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, IFRC, the Skillshare workshop, held for 2 days last week, was taken as a springboard to locally raise funds and serve the communities. Speaking at the opening plenary session of the workshop, Abra Lalesa, Secretary General of the Ethiopian Red Cross Society, stressed on independence of funding, highlighting domestic resource mobilization as one of the 8 strategic pillars of ERCS.
Across Africa, humanitarian needs are rising sharply, while international funding opportunities continue to diminish. In this environment, our national societies are being tested, not only in our ability to respond, but also in our capacity to sustain ourselves and remain relevant to the communities we serve. The Global Resource Mobilization Strategy identifies domestic resource mobilization as one of its 3 key pillars. But this is not only about securing funds. It's about asserting our independence, reinforcing our credibility, and ensuring that our humanitarian mission is owned and driven by Africans for Africa.
I don't want to repeat what the Secretary General of Ethiopia Red Cross has said. I think he summarized it very well, and that's the spirit of this meeting. We want to help, to enable locally led national societies with a leadership ready to drive their constituencies towards self-reliance. You mentioned, Abera, independence, and I like this one.
The participants of the Skillshare workshop had an opportunity to share experiences through panel discussions and breakout sessions.
Those are the assets value today. Alright, so the case now, this is the challenge.
More than 18 countries have shared their best practices in digital fundraising, asset management, corporate fundraising, policies and plans for resource mobilization, income-generating activities, mobilizing branches for resource mobilization and private source fundraising, communications, and other interconnected topics.
We had very good collaborators who can work with us to get us to this particular point.
Stronger national societies lead to a stronger fundraising movement overall.
No donor will want to continue to support a partner that cannot account for the resources.
The Ethiopian Red Cross Society shared its best practices in terms of asset management, digital mapping of assets, SMS-based fundraising program, lease and tenant management system, which have been used as income-generating activities. Similarly, ERCS has also shared best practices from other national societies.
በዋሌት ሲስተም በዋሌት ፈንድራይዚንግ ሲስተም ላይ እኛ ትንሽ ገና ነን። ዋሌት ሲስተም ማለት በሲቢኢ ብር በኢብር ተጠቅመን በየቦታው ዋሌት ሲስተሞችን ከፍተን ፈንድራይዚንግ ላይ ሁለት ሀገሮች ጥሩ እየሰሩበት እንደሆነ አይተናል። ወደሱ መግባት እንዳለብን እያየን ነው። ኢንፋክት የሀገራችን የመኒ ሲስተም የገንዘብ ዝውውር ሲስተምን ያዝ ያደርጋል። ያም ሆኖ ግን መግባት እንዳለብን ተረድተናል። ከዚህ በተረፈ ደግሞ ትልልቅ ኢንቨስትመንቶች ላይ መግባት እንዳለብንም እየተማረን ነው። በራሳችን ሆቴል መገንባት፣ ሌሎች ነገሮችን ላይ መገንባት፣ ትልልቅ ኢንቨስትመንቶች ላይ ትምህርት ቤቶች ላይ መስራት እንዳለብን ማለት የራሳችን ትምህርት ቤት መክፈት ከኪንደርጋርተን ጀምሮ እያየን ነው። ጥሩ ትምህርቶች እየወሰድን ነው።
Heads of the Red Cross and Red Crescent National Societies have shared their reflections with us, calling for quick action in strategizing the means of generating local funding by mobilizing the private sector to mitigate the risks of shrinking external donor funding.
If we don't believe in our capacities, if we don't believe in the expertise that we have, and if we don't believe in the human resources that we have, we will never be able to achieve our goal of being able to mobilize resources to cover our core costs, but also to deliver services to the population that need them. So believing in ourselves means that we need to start thinking out of the box. Start getting handouts from the external donors.
When I was coming, the objective for me was to learn something that I did not know, or to learn from my colleagues who have the same problem, how they are dealing with that, and I'm doing that. So I hope others will do the same thing. Otherwise, we will be back where we are, and resources will continue to dwindle, because now we are having, in the Western countries, more radical governments coming to power with different priorities. Humanitarian assistance is decreasing every year. We get to a point where there will be no more money. Then what do? Do we close all the Red Cross offices? No. So we have to find a way where we can work together.
45 national societies attending this workshop. Therefore, I think the knowledge that is being shared, the experience and challenges across the different national society will give us a learning platform of where we have the strength, where we have the weaknesses, and how best we can chart a way forward.
Africans give, Africans are generous, but the movement has not yet tapped into those domestically available resources, exploiting the Africans' potential of giving. And the question is, why do we still look to the outside when our people are willing to give? And they give. When disaster strikes, they give. But now, the important thing is how to be prepared.
The financing challenge that we're facing now with the changing landscape across Africa, for me, we term it as a challenge, but I see it more as an opportunity. So it's an opportunity for us as national societies, first of all, to build capacity for ourselves, as well as to be in a position for us to become self-sufficient, so we are able to support our programs at the local level.
I've learned a lot. We're in end of day one today, and I learned a lot from other national societies. There are a lot of strategies that I'm copying, that I'm going to replicate in my country, and I believe that they will assist Botswana Red Cross Society to grow bigger and better, and even be more self-sustainable in terms of resources going forward, especially considering the current challenges that we have of resources, which is not only limited to Botswana, but to the region and to Africa as a whole. So I believe that we'll come out more resourceful in terms of knowledge, in terms of strategies that are different in our resource mobilization.
This is extremely exciting, this event. I've had the privilege to be involved in skill shares in London, in Tbilisi, in Budapest, in Moscow, and these have all focused on either global fundraising efforts or specifically for the Europe region. So this year is the first ever time that we have had a skill share for Africa, really focusing on African national societies, their capacities, their needs, and giving them a platform to share their experience. So it's a huge milestone for the region and for the globe, and we really hope that this event will continue throughout the future.
During the event, participants had an opportunity to visit the ERCS's training center, where they showed their interest to share the best practices of income-generating activities at the center, appreciating the outstanding achievements.
this facility has a capacity of 400 people at a time for training and for meetings, with 6 training rooms.
Speaking at the closing plenary session, Dr. Addis Ababa, board member at ERCS, stressed the need to utilize the continent's untapped resources.
The need to share experiences, learn from one another, and live equipped with ideas that will help us tap into the true potential of our local resources. Yet the reality is that the global fund is shrinking, but I believe this is not just a challenge, but it's an opportunity. An opportunity for us as an African National Society to look inwards and recognize the immense value we already hold. Africa is rich, not only in resources, but in people, in culture, in wisdom, and in resilience. We just need to start believing in that.
The first ever Africa Regional Resource Mobilization Skill Share workshop concluded in Addis Ababa at the end of last week, with a call to utilize local resource mobilization and improve financial sustainability.